they never toil to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong.
Yes, very good, nice.
Since soldiers and Nixon's coming, we're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio. Gotta get into it, soldiers are winning this game. Since soldiers and Nixon's coming, we're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio.
Gotta get down to it, soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been gone long ago.
What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know?
Gaza live and thrive. We stand strong in solidarity. Now this is the melody to John 2. Ready, go. We must stop this genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. The world cries out to all who died. Stop arming Israel now. We must stop this genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. The world cries out to all who died. Economic sanctions now. United Nations must accept responsibility. Palestinian people have no safety or security. Uphold our international law. That's what we're here to do. This violence can't continue. Actions must start with you. We must stop this genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. The words cry out to all who died. Stop arming Israel now. Economic sanctions. We must stop this genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide.
today on Memorial Day to commemorate and to remember all those who have perished in war and conflict. And we all remember that it's our country, it's the United States, that has been perpetrating war and violence against the people on the land and against the environment and against all living things. And we're gathered here today to say no more genocide in Gaza.
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 United States, get out of all the countries we've invaded, over 150 countries on the earth.
United States, get out of all the countries we invaded.
And take the troops away from the border with Mexico.
And take the troops away from the border with Mexico.
A reminder.
A reminder.
If any active duty troops see us here, standing here against genocide, remember what you do today as an active duty member of the military will live with you the rest of your lives. To all active duty soldiers.
To all active duty soldiers.
Remember.
Remember.
What you do today.
What you do today.
Will live with you.
Will live with you.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
We have Veterans for Peace members here today.
We have Veterans for Peace members here today.
To tell you, they never forget what they went through in war, in conflict.
To tell you, they never forget what they went through in war and conflict.
So to everybody who is listening to us today, we're saying no more war.
No more war.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Mike Ferner, who has been here for the past few days and has a wonderful message from Veterans for Peace.
Thank you. This is the statement that Susan and I put together last year for our Memorial Day statement. And it says, Memorial Day is a day for remembering the victims of war. Members of Veterans for Peace remember America's war dead, not just once a year, but every day of our lives, with the solemnity they deserve, not the crass commercialism Memorial Day has become. We remember the war dead and the far greater number of wounded, with missing limbs, and the even greater number living with invisible, lifelong devils and injuries in their heads. We remember the lost contributions they could have made to society that they literally bottled up or destroyed in the epidemic of suicide rampant among veterans. We remember the domestic violence caused by their devils. We remember the children whose lives were more painful and less joyful than they could have been because of those devils. We remember the way the pain echoes through generations, refreshed by each new war. We remember how our communities and our nation are so much less than they should be because of this undeserved burden. We remember all those that our sociopathic, delusional leaders told us were the enemy. We remember the multitudes of women, children, the old and the sick they obscenely wrote off as collateral damage. We remember our innumerable brothers and sisters of Mother Earth who were killed and wounded. The birds, the four-legged, our family in the seas, the trees and life-giving plants destroyed without thought, the crops and animals that sustain human life. I hope whoever drank this last one spit it. remember the billions of people who go without clean water, education, and health care because war has stolen the money. We also remember the few winners in what Marine Corps General Smedley Butler called the racket of war, the elite who delight in telling their puppets and governments to order up another one. And we remember the winner's mantra, even losing wars make money. We remember all the losers of that racket too. We remember each one. We do not remember some and ignore others. Nor do we glorify warriors or war because there is no glory in war. On Memorial Day, we remember all the folly and all the costs of war. We remember what Jeannette Rankin, the first woman in Congress, said as she voted against declaring war in 1917. You can no more win a war than you can win an earthquake. And I'd like to just to remember Aaron Bushnell for just a minute and read you the words that I'm sure you're familiar with that he spoke into his smartphone before he lit himself up. So many of us like to ask ourselves, what would we do if I was alive during slavery or Jim Crow or apartheid? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer is, you're doing it right now. Thank you.
Welcome, Phil Cottingham, and I need to mention to you, he's the newest member of Veterans for Peace who I've met. We have a very strong connection. Phil was in the Marine Corps. My father was in the Marine Corps. My father was killed July 22nd, 1944 on the landing of Guam. Oh. So all of my life has been framed by war, which is why I'm such a strong believer in Veterans for Peace. Phil was in the Marine Corps, and I said to him when I met him that we had a strong connection. We do have a very strong connection. So please welcome Phil, who will read a poem by Doug Rawlings.
Hi, thank you, Susan. I'm Phil Tottenham, Marine Corps veteran and member of Veterans for Peace.
As loud as you can, Phil.
This is The Wall by Doug Rawlings. Descending into this declivity, dug into our nation's capital by the cloven hoof of yet another one of our country's tropical wars, slipping past the names of those whose wounds refuse to heal, slipping past the panel where my name would have been, could have been, perhaps should have been, down to the wall's greatest depth where the beginning meets the end, I kneel, starting through my own reflection beyond the names of those who died so young, knowing that the wall has finally found me. 58,000 yard stairs have fixed on me, as if I were their pole star, as if I could guide their mute testimony back into the world, as if I could connect all those dots in the nighttime sky, as if I could tell them a reason why. And I'd like to add one little brief snippet on who we should honor today. Today we gather to honor the memory of those who gave their lives in the service to this country and to the war machine. We remember their courage, their sacrifice, and the heavy price paid by so many families for our freedom. But as we reflect, we must also confront an uncomfortable truth. Too often is the poor, the working class, and the voiceless are sent to fight wars decided by powerful, the rich, the elite, those far removed from the battlefield. Our fallen heroes did not choose the politics that sent them into harm's way. They chose service, duty, and love of country. But we owe it to them to ask why so many die in wars that protect profits more than people, influence more than integrity. True honor means more than flags and parades. It means demanding that their lives never be used as pawns again. It means fighting for a world where sacrifice is not exploited and where peace is not a distant dream, but a real priority, as it should be. Free Palestine.
Thank you.
Palestine. Free Palestine.
Friends, alliance with the Veterans for Peace, the courageous and stalwart Veterans for Peace, reminds me of a lighthouse casting its light out on seas, and we are guided by your compass, and we are grateful. And today let's also remember 17 Israeli reservists who went to prison because they don't want to go to Gaza.
Thank you.
Or commit atrocities in the West Bank. But let us also remember a family reeling in grief. 2 Palestinian doctors from Khan Yunis, Dr. Al-Najjar, Dr. Hamdi Al-Najjar, would take turns going to their hospital shifts or taking care of the 10 children. And Dr. Allah was in the hospital doing her shift as a pediatrician. And Dr. Hamdi was at home with the children. And someone in the Israeli military was ordered to fire a missile directly into the home, and Dr. Allah received the charred and dead bodies of 9 of her children. Her husband Hamdi is severely, gravely injured. So I wonder if you could join with me in remembering those children. Luqman Al-Najjar, 2 years old. And in my day, when I was a younger child, we sang the Gregorian chant.
Beautiful.
So maybe you could join me in this. Luqman Al-Najjar, 2 years old. We remember you. We remember you. Ruslan Al-Najjar, 7 years old. Ruslan Al-Najjar, 7 years old. We remember you. Sadin Al-Najjar, 3 years old. Sadin Al-Najjar, 3 years old. We remember you. Yahya Al-Najjar, 12 years old. Yahya Al-Najjar, 12 years old. We remember you. Gibran Al-Najjar, 8 years old. Gibran Al-Najjar, 8 years old. We remember you. Eve Al-Najjar, 9 years old. Eve Al-Najjar, 9 years old. We remember you. Rakhan Al-Najjar, 10 years old. Rakhan Al-Najjar, 10 years old. We remember you. Rivan Al-Najjar, 5 years old. Rivan Al-Najjar, 5 years old. We remember you. And her 7-month-old child, Sidra Al-Najjar. Sidra Al-Najjar, 7 months old. We remember you. So, dear friends, our remembrance will fuel our action. This is a crucial time, an urgent time. It could be the end times in a plan for final solutions. We cannot say we did not know. I thank you so, so much for the solidarity, the kindness, the assurance that we shall not give up. And perhaps someday, for a future generation, we shall overcome.
At the very end, we take carnations and throw them into the East River and speak the name of the person who has died in war. So I'm going to ask you if there are people. I didn't bring enough carnations today, but I brought lilies because lilies go on graves after people die. And I thought lilies would be a reminder to all of us of the death and destruction that is going on in Palestine. So let me ask, is there somebody who has a person to remember? Would you like to come and hold flowers and speak about somebody? I know we're all here because the war on Gaza means so much to us, and probably because there is somebody, a friend or a family member, who died in war. And I think it would be appropriate and wonderful for us to remember that person who is so important to you. I hear you, Anthony. Is there anybody else to speak?
So I was going to do a song and then lead into
No,
the
we're
sharing.
going to do this first. Yes.
This is for anyone who wishes to come up, as Susan said.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we
So
do have the East River, but
start.
it'd be hard to get there, you know, and if I had my way, we'd do it, but I don't think we'd get far. So Anthony, if you
Sure.
would like to hold the lilies
Okay, great.
and talk about the person. Okay, go ahead.
I think of my father today. I was born in a military hospital in Germany after the war. He wore a black armband at work. His co-workers moved away from him during the Vietnam War. So I want to thank him for that. He was a captain in the Army. And my uncle was a Marine, captain in the Marines. So I remember them, and I remember primarily all the Palestinian fighters, those who served in the healthcare system, those who were teachers in the schools. Those are the people I think about, the children and the fighters that are up against the impossible. So just offer that. So yeah, you can all come forward and just say what is in your heart, who are you thinking of?
I'd like to remember my grandfather, who was a naval doctor during World War II, who served on the USS Tarawa, Purple Heart, and he had an interaction one night where it was him and a Japanese soldier, and as a doctor, it went against everything for him to kill someone else, but because he was afraid, he shot first. And those horrors of war, just that one instance, it doesn't stop there. It gets passed on generations, the trauma. And that's the burden that veterans are asked to bear for the war machine and for profit. And so I'd like to honor my grandfather.
I'd like to remember Wilfred Owen, who was one of the famous British soldier poets from World War I. And if you're not familiar with his work, please look him up. He was a wonderful poet and would have made wonderful contributions to society. He was killed a week before the end of World War I. Wilfred Owen.
Oh.
I have two people that I want to remember. I have lots of people, but two people in
Speak
particular.
up.
Two people I want to remember. One is Juan Zamora. He was my buddy in Vietnam. He only had a few days left and he died. Just beautiful. And the other one is, I don't know the person's name. We were doing an operation and the sniper shot at us and we turned around and these people in black pajamas went down in the field and we opened fire. think of him all the time.
Let's be careful. Be careful.
I think my memory is, I don't know, shaken up by all of these trauma, but a wonderful young neighbor in Washington Heights, and I'm blocking his name, but he was one of the early people killed in the war in Iraq in, I think it was 2004. And I used to meet his stepfather outside every day on my way to the gym. And I'm thinking, I'm going to this gym, and this lovely young man is gone. He looked like a little boy with a little cap, a little soldier cap on. And they all said, oh, he's a hero, and all of the Dominican kids in the neighborhood should sign up. And then they'll get citizenship for their families. And they had the military come marching down the road. It was so disgusting. And his whole family kind of got caught up in it, and the city council person would come around to him and everything. But he was gone. They even named a library after him, but his life was gone. And now I'm remembering the 15 paramedics. I'm an old nurse, and I have such a deep respect for paramedics, 15 paramedics who were just slaughtered and buried, and their ambulances destroyed to cover up the evidence in Gaza. So disgusting. So all this killing is disgusting. I agree with Anthony. Stop doing it.
Thank you, Alice.
I've got several people I could remember. I'll just tell you one story. When I was with the 571st in Fubai, we had this new pilot come into the unit. He was a great guy. He'd been an infantryman in his first tour, then he went to flight school and came back as a helicopter pilot. He was just friendly, jovial, just a good guy. He was married and had 2 kids back home. Well, one mission, he went out, pick up some guys. He was sitting in the LZ waiting to load up, and a mortar round fell right on top of him. He's gone now. He was a great guy. The whole family, they're going to miss him. They do miss him, I'm sure. I miss him.
Thank you.
Well, I've never gotten to say this before in front of a group of veterans, but or anywhere. But I'd like to remember my step-great-grandfather who fought in World War I. I have photographs of him in his uniform as a young man. But all I remember of him is a clear memory of me as a little girl going to the nursing home to visit him at about 90 years of age with a completely smashed up knee and couldn't work or walk. So that was my first visceral memory of or impression of what war is about. You know, again, I was like 3 or 4 years old. And also my great uncle, Charles Gazer. He was in World War II. And again, as a growing up girl, I would remember my grandmother on the phone with his wife, her sister, Esther, just talking about how he would have flashbacks and run around the dining room table in the middle of the night. She had to calm him down. And that was my next impression of what war is all about. And that probably led me in one way or other to why I'm here today and why I've been fighting against wars all my life.
Thank you, Deb Lee.
In the statement that I read, we talked about remembering all the victims of war, not just soldiers, not just any human being victim of war, all the victims, all the life that suffers. And to just have a small, singular example of that. When I was with Kathy Kelly in Baghdad just before the invasion in 2003, my job was to deliver news releases to the Ministry of Information. And there was a 6-month-old scrawny little cat that some of the reporters there would feed. And as we all know how animals touch our hearts, our dogs and our cats and whatever animals we're close to. And I just love that little cat. And I know he or she didn't make it through, and it's just one more example. So
Thank you, Mike. So I just have to admit, as we all stand here commemorating Memorial Day and what it means and our strength together to try to create peace and justice in the world, as I look behind me and see the United Nations, and some of you know my history, but honestly what I would love to do is to get into a plane and drop peace leaflets on that building, on the UN, and on New York City. Because it's time to do it again. Because we are for peace. We are for peace. We want that killing and destruction, and we want to stop the genocide in Gaza.
Yes, that's right.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? They've gone to younger everyone. When long time passing, where have all long time ago, where have all they've gone to husbands, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they?
where have all
long time passing,
Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone?
they've gone to soldiers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? And where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. And where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? They've gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they learn? When will
Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone?
gone to flowers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When
Thank you.
Bud wants to sing it. No. So, if we wouldn't mind, I know everyone here has someone in their hearts that they're thinking of when you hear taps. Some of us had it playing when we were Boy Scouts, but those in the military heard it many a time, but at many a graveyard. So please keep that special person that's close to you in your heart. Sure. And actually, I'd like to be on that side, playing to the flower. So the attention goes to the flower, if you don't mind. And especially as Mike brought up, Aaron Bushnell in our hearts today. What a courageous, courageous act.
Thanks.